Hello, everyone. Today on this episode, we're going to be discussing our pros and cons of being comedians. We're going to chat about interesting topics. We're going to discuss deep talk, and you're going to get a couple of recommendations. So stay tuned till the end.
Él es mi amigo. He's my friend. Somos amigos and friends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Amigos and Friends.
Hey,
Woo!
how's it going, my friend?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm happy to be here again. It's not the same day. We don't have the same clothes.
Absolutely
What
not.
are you talking about? This is a different hat.
Yeah. I've definitely put on weight, like
Yeah, you drink some cola. No?
Indeed,
some
indeed.
Dr. Pepper. My friend, how are you? All good?
everything is cool. Everything is good. Still buzzing from the start of this podcast, episode 1.
It was a very nice feeling, isn't it?
It was really good. And I'm looking forward to getting into these topics today as well, especially.
As you might know, if you're watching this second episode, we're both comedians. And I have this topic like, hey, we always could talk about hours and hours about comedy. But I wanted to see, like, a couple of things that you love the most about being a comedian and maybe a couple of things that you don't like.
Yeah, sure. So I think we touched on it a little bit in episode 1. But my favorite thing about doing stand-up is for sure that the vibe and the buzz when you're on stage and when it's going
What
well.
it makes you feel.
I mean, I think everyone's gonna.
Yes,
every
yes.
single comedian has that same vibe.
Yeah, it's, like I was also saying, is mostly the reason why a lot of people do it.
Absolutely.
You don't get into comedy thinking like, oh, this is where the money is. Like,
No. Absolutely
You
not.
need a little bit of a junkie mind and a little bit of attention whore and be like, yeah, please pay attention to me.
Completely.
That's usually the formula. And if you can make some good jokes, it works.
It helps.
It helps because if not, nobody wants to book you.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, I'm missing the attention. Well, just you need to make people laugh.
Yeah. Work on your set.
Rocky said, there's a big difference. I think you've seen it in your experience when somebody knows comedy, studied something, or just is winging it, which is a respectable path. In comedy, I just consider it to be way slower.
Sure. I think it's like you can tell when someone, and even if it's not that they know the ins and outs, but that they've prepared.
Yeah.
They've come with some kind of an idea of what
They
they're going to
read
do.
something online.
Yeah,
they
or-
watched some.
Or they've got some of their own thoughts together. Just, okay, here's a few things that I want to talk about. And not just literally like, oh, God, now I'm here. What do I do? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, no. I teach comedy. Like, I've been doing comedy. We said I'm running into 12 years doing stand-up. And I teach comedy now. So I don't know everything, but I know a lot. And I, of course, know a lot more than anyone that is just starting out. So I see it how when you're cutting your own path in the jungle of comedy and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, it's just so much slower than if I tell you like, hey, this is what works. This is how you can fast track it. This is how you should be thinking. This is how you take your notes. And then you do your own cutting through the jungle. You're like, you have a tractor and the other guy has a machete and they're both doing it. And you might reach the same level of success of making people laugh for half an hour. But one is going to take 6 months and one is going to take a couple of years, depending on your own, how much work you put on it, how many hours you put on it. The natural talent, no? That such thing exists.
Are you already likable, funny?
You're already funny,
Yeah.
like you know how to talk in front of people. And sometimes that helps. Sometimes people are like, this is my first time, and they do great, and you're like, motherfucker. The envy.
No, I think I agree with that completely, that a combination of the two is always good, to get some insights externally and also to forge your own path.
You have to forge your own path, and it's also not just to be talented or not. You could lack the natural talent and put a lot of hard work. You can still make it. I'm just saying, knowing how to do it, it will just shorten your path, and that's why I was commenting on that, because I've seen, for example, in my group in Comedy Fire, comedyfire.com.
Shout out.
Shows in Spanish mostly, but well, we'll see. I see how my guys in the first couple of years, I had from zero or very beginner to 1 hour full show success international comedian, versus some other people that have been doing comedy in German, English, or whatever, even Spanish for like 5 years, and they come to our shows and you're like, what? How long is this guy been doing comedy? Like, oh, he just turned 2 years. Like, why is he headlining? Well, because he can. And they're like, oh, fuck you. I can do like 30 minutes in English, 20 minutes in Spanish. I've been doing it for 5 years. And it's like, yeah, because you're doing this and you're like trying it out. And then when you pick something that works, then you go there. But I told them, like, don't do this, do this. And of course, you take them under your wing and take them on tour. Like, hey, you want to go to Frankfurt and open for me? Like, oh, you only have 15 minutes. Come along. And then that path also forges your character, your ability. By, of course, learning by doing, but learning by studying as well.
In the deep end.
In the deep end, yeah. So what else do you like about it?
Yeah, so what else do I like about it? I love the camaraderie. I love the fact that like we had already a pretty good friendship and understanding just because
working together in comedy.
You instantly know, and I get this whenever I've performed anywhere else, whenever I've shared the stage with people who I've never met.
Yeah.
You instantly have this thing, this kind of brotherhood that brings you together.
Like, we're comedians.
And instantly, you can already start like roasting each other and being silly.
Yeah.
It's not like having a discussion with anyone else.
Yeah, there's an understanding, like, we're comedians, so by default I know that you are a bit like this.
Yeah, typically
we're all different, but I know what you mean.
There's always like the line. Each person has their own line. Some people are a little bit more particular about, you know you can't overstep the mark with everybody. But I instantly like that. No matter who it is,
automatic
banter, respect, understanding. We're both probably like quite quirky, eccentric people, and so let's just put it out on the table. Here's my stuff. Okay, cool. Here's my stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy also when you don't know people and you're like, oh yeah, Sandy, here, I'm gonna perform later. Oh, okay, and then you discover them on stage and you're like, oh, look at that.
Or if they're completely different to their offstage personality, or if they're the same.
That's a nice surprise.
That's really cool. And it's something whenever you're hanging out with like non-comedians or like friends you have outside of comedy.
Yeah.
And let's say, for example, one of them is in a circle of conversation, and they're maybe the only non-comedian. They'll tell me after, like, whoa, it's so different when you're kind of hanging out with each other, because you're speaking in a place that's you're in your own little kind of matrix with these people.
It's like if you were with 5 people that love football, soccer.
Exactly.
And you have no idea about football, soccer. And you like them all individually, but then now when they're in a group, you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't understand anything you were saying, but it was funny to see how you were having a good time.
Totally.
Yeah.
I actually know people who find it a little bit almost annoying when they're in that kind of discussion, because they're not always just on and joking around and stuff, and so they find it a little bit like, God, give it a rest, guys, but I can't, and that's probably why I'm doing this, because I love being in the pocket and having fun and joking around, because that's what it's all about in my world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, on my side, I never turn it off, but I am way more tend to listening when I'm not on stage. If we're all here, I can be I can shut up and be like, okay. And then if I have nothing to put, I might not say anything. But of course, when I'm like, ooh, wait, there's a joke here, I have to put it. You also feel like you always have to put the joke that you thought of.
Totally. And do you find that comedians are interestingly a mix between extroversion and introversion?
Yeah.
So for me, for example, a little bit like you just said, I can quite happily be the quietest person in a hang.
Yeah.
But that might come across as strange for someone who's never done stand-up, to think that I'm very comfortable and actually I thrive in front of 200 people. Yeah. And then so I'll do that, I'll have a great time, everyone's laughing, and then I'll go off stage and not want to speak to anyone for 3 days.
It's
do you know what I mean? It's this weird dichotomy of...
When they see you on stage the same day, and then in the after hang, you're like, very quiet, like, what happened, Mr. Funny?
Who's this guy? It's all gone. The social, it's all gone. I gave it all.
The magic.
Now I just want to.
We also run off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, before we go to negatives, I'm gonna tell you my favorites. Yes, it's related to that feeling. Let's say the feeling of getting laughed, getting a good rhythm, getting the applause. Let's just put it by default. We all fucking love it. If I have to go in something more particular, it's the energy that you can borrow from the audience. For example, I had this tour where I was doing a double show in Frankfurt on Saturday, but the Friday before it was Corina's birthday. And we had the Zeta Bar show. So I was like, I have this show, but it's my wife's birthday. We have a party here. So I opened the show because I'm also the producer. So I'm like, everybody in, the money, the camera, the audio. I open the show, I do 15 minutes, and I'm like, and I leave you with next comedian. And then I run home, and then I come here, the party's already starting, and then hang out. At 5 a.m. that evening, I have to wake up, pack my bag, and go to Frankfurt. My train was at, 7 a.m. or something. And then in Frankfurt, I had to give a workshop for, it was 3 people. It was a 5-hour workshop because, like I said, I teach comedy. And I'm one of the very few stand-up comedy teachers in Spanish in this region in Europe. So I have nothing in me because before, it was 4 a.m., I'm like, guys, the party's over. Fucking leave. I need to, take a break. And I thought I'm going to sleep for an hour. I didn't. I was just putting things away, made my bag, and I'm like, I have to leave in 15 minutes. So I go without sleeping, and I maybe take a nap in the train, and then I have to teach for 5 hours, and then I have to go back to check into the hotel, quickly take a shower, and then I have to do a double show in Frankfurt. I haven't slept yet, except whatever I could catch on the train. And when I arrive on stage, I tell the people, honestly, hey, look, this happened, and I give a very brief recap. And I said, so I need you guys to give me all your energy, like when Goku was asking for it in the Henki Dama. Because if not, I cannot do it. And it was magical because I was being honest with them, and they were like, fuck yeah. And they were like, ah.
They appreciated that you did all of that.
Yeah, but they also noticed how they lift me up. And it was really borrowing that energy. And I had the full show, 1 hour plus openers, and then I can sit down. But when I'm producing, I am checking the camera, I'm taking pictures, I'm checking people in, even if somebody's on stage already. So we take a break in between shows, but it's not a break. It's like, people, please leave. The other people are outside. Come. And then second show goes great. And at 12 something, I sit down, and then everything goes away. And I'm like, I have nothing. Please carry me to a hotel. That feeling that you can make energy up or borrow it, or share it with the audience, even if you are virtually 30 plus hours without sleep, and because it's not just not sleep, it's you're tired. I gave a class. I was in a different city this morning. Even then, and the shows were amazing. That magic, I don't know how else to describe it. That's why we're such into detail. And the other thing I love about comedy is the friends you make along the way. Just being an excuse to meet new people. We all know that as an adult, it's just hard to make friends, isn't it?
It's certainly very quick, a little bit of what I was saying before.
Yeah.
You get rid of the whole who are you, where are you from? It doesn't really matter. You do stand up, and that's all I really care about.
We have that in common.
Yeah, so let's just get straight into it. Yeah. I can just instantly ask you a very deep question about your life, about your history, your family, and there's no ooh, who's he asking me this? Because we've already built the thick skin. We've already got rid of all of that insecurity. We're just
kind of get into.
You're an open book at that point.
It's very interesting how it's easier to connect with people, but like I said, it's a good excuse to go places and talk to people that you never talked to before.
Totally.
And so a lot of my friends, my real friends, you included, they're through comedy in this country. And as an immigrant that doesn't speak the language natively, and that you're still always isolated in your own communities, it's very important to have a way to make friends. And that's why I say I don't want to speak German on on regular basis. I don't care because I have my bubble, and my bubble keeps on expanding because we keep on meeting new people that are interested in doing comedy, or we keep on going to other cities, other countries, and make very nice friendships with other people that are doing the same as we do. And I fucking love it. So
Totally, man. Totally. I'd say that probably about 70% of my network friend circle is comedy related, whether it's comedians or people who work in clubs or this kind of thing. So that, it's huge. And
the social aspect of it.
The social aspect is massive. And one thing that you reminded me of was that sort of that running and gunning energy when you've got... I had, for example, a cousin of mine from the UK came to stay in Berlin. Yeah. And I had a full day of stuff lined up, but I wanted to see him. So I said, you can come with me if you want. So come and eat some food that I'm cooking in the day job. He came to that. Then we went back to my house. I had a shower after like a long kitchen shift. Then it was like, cool, I've got training. So I went to do jiu-jitsu for 2 hours. Yeah. He kind of came along and watched that. Had another shower. And then I was like, cool, 3 shows now. So going from like this show to this show, and so after the second show, he just kind of like coming with me. We were just kind of waiting for a train, and I was like, "Okay, cool, it's the third one." And I look over at him, and he's just like looking at me like that, and I'm like, "What?" What he said was like, "You're really living, bro.
You're
really living, bro." And that really hit me because it's someone who I've known since he was a little kid. He's like 8 years younger than me, and he just looks up and he's like, You're living. You're in the moment. You're doing stuff. You're like,
doing a lot of stuff.
I'm doing a lot of stuff, and it's very easy to get absorbed into the weeds of your daily thing, and then you kind of step back, where someone else gives you that insight, and it's like, do you realize what's happening here? Like, it's great what you're doing, you know. And man, I love that aspect of it. When you're just like,
man, you're a cook. You're a fighter, you're a comedian, like what?
Yeah,
it's one day,
exactly.
Like what?
Married, 2 cats, like everything all at once and more, and you're just like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, you can get lost into your own thing, and you're like, isn't it normal? And people are like, no.
Yeah, it's like no, I actually tend to not do anything in the evenings. I'll work and then just go home.
Yeah, and then you're like,
shows. I can't even think of that. Like,
I mean, I do crave that because I'm always like that. Like. Always heavy. I sit down in front of the computer a lot because, like I said, I have to carry the whole machinery for the shows to be possible. I do it most myself. So when I can have a weekend, when I can just be home and play some video games and hang out with my wife and my dog, I do crave it because I don't have it often. But if that's your everyday, I guess, I mean, it's nice in a way, but of course, when you see somebody like achieving things and doing things, it must be a different like a shock, a contrast there.
Totally. And the interesting thing as well is it doesn't really matter how well all of those things went, whether you had like a great jiu-jitsu or a bad one, or a couple of good sets and a bad one, or 3 great ones, or it actually doesn't really matter.
You did it.
The point is that you did all of those things, and then at the end of the day you go to bed and you're like,
that's a victory.
That was a good day, you know. And it could have had a lot of failures, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, like, for example, those shows where they're not that full and you're like, but it was such a good show,
but it was fun.
Like as a producer, sometimes it's like, I lost money doing this show, like coming here and doing this nice thing, I lost money instead of earning money. But it was a good show. It's always like, but we won something.
Yeah.
Something was won, and it was not euros in my bag.
Exactly. And that's actually most times, I would say, for me anyway.
I understand.
Including the travel and the time and all that stuff. If you put the whole equation
if you go
in,
to a different city.
Yeah, it's... You're breaking even if you're lucky, and that's great. Yeah, and if you've got a couple of extra beers or whatever, good.
You're winning the experience.
So
you're winning the clips that you're gonna put on YouTube. Hopefully.
Exactly, and you're hoping that they end up, flourishing.
Yeah, it's investing in your career.
That's actually maybe a good point to start talking about some of the cons.
Yeah.
The other side of doing stand up is that one thing that came to mind was it's all very content based and algorithmically based nowadays. So
if you want to succeed, yeah,
exactly. If you're just wanting to enjoy doing stand up, you can do that. But if you want to thrive and grow and be present and all these things, one of the things that you just have to do, and we're both doing it now,
right now
in this moment,
yeah.
And over the last couple of years, like clipping things, posting
Content.
things. Like I've filmed every set I've ever done, which I think is great. But it's actually now the mining aspect, like going through it, finding those little gems, clipping them, the subtitles, the different angles, making sure the sound's right, making sure the light's right, posting it at the right time. All of that stuff is
That's not my favorite now. No.
not me neither, but it's almost like it's a requirement, and if you don't do it, you're basically just accepting that you're only half in the game, or maybe even less.
Maybe it's your hobby.
Maybe it's just a hobby, a
Maybe
passion
you're
project.
Paying money to perform.
Exactly, which is fine if you're willing to do that. But if you want to keep going, and
if
get
you have
bigger and
your life resolved in another matter, like I have a lot of informatic engineers in the group, and they're like, "It's fine. Hey, I'm gonna pay you this amount. It's not that much." Or like, "It's fine." Like,
yeah, they don't care.
I don't do it for money. Like, I appreciate getting paid for my job, but I don't do it for the money. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't do it for the money, but it is my full-time job. So for me, it's always like, oh, yeah, I have to pay the rent at the end of the month anyway. But yeah, this aspect of having to jump on the TikTok trend, like a couple of years ago, I was like, I don't want to download TikTok. I don't want it in my life. I see what it does to people, like, and now I'm like thinking, how can I TikTok this? That's not my favorite part of it. But one advice that I can give you, when possible, which is at the beginning is not, when possible, outsource that.
Yeah.
So what I gladly can do right now is, and it still worked from my side, but I give it to someone that it works with me. Shout out to Gonzalo. Like, Gonzalo, here is my hour that I did this weekend, and then I send him just like, because I'm doing it on the phone and with this same mics actually. And like, hey, I had this show in, I don't know, Heidelberg. Give me some clips. There is a crowd work part, and just check every joke that I said differently. And then I just close my eyes and wait for them, and then I have them to upload. It still worked from my side, thinking, what should he do? And I give him some directions, because if not, he will give me something and I'm like, I didn't want that one. Or like, hey, you didn't send me the crowd work. And sometimes also like saying, hey, that's a clip, and saying it in the show, so the editor can be like, oh, he wants this clip. So it's an extra layer of thinking, but it's definitely very helpful to being able to outsource it.
I think that's great. I had a guy, and we the first, I'd say like 50% of my social media feed was working with someone.
All right.
But what I found was the dynamic was a little bit like you said. I was still doing quite a lot of the work. The only thing was just the very last bit of the actual editing. But choosing, the thing that I think is difficult is choosing the clip and deciding how to present it. And that, so I kind of just have retaken ownership of that. And for now, it's been good. But
for example, for the podcasting clips, I do those myself with the help of AI. But people think like, you just give it to AI. And like, no. You still have to upload the thing. You still have to look at the clips. You have to, like, the AI didn't understand the wording. You have to change the word. Sometimes in the podcasting, maybe I'm talking and the clip is 1 minute of just doing this, because you're listening to me. And I'm like, you stupid intelligence, look at me, I'm talking. And then you have to select, like, no, look at this speaker and cut it. So there's a lot of editing, even with the help
tools
of AI. So every podcasting clip you see in English or in Spanish, I'm doing it myself with the help of AI. Still a lot of time to sit down and do it. And when it's done, you have to post it. And you have to write the description. Of course, those tools, they sometimes suggest you something. The other day I uploaded a TikTok reacting to one of those, and I'm like, it was so ridiculous in my vision that it was so funny that it made me crack. And I was like, I'm gonna record this, because you still have to change most of it, because it gives you hashtags. It gives you like, oh, in this video we're exploring that, and like, it's a 30-second video. Don't write accompany us in this journey. Like, do not just no. It's a lot of work. But yes,
and you
do have to do it.
The thumbnail, that's another thing. Canva and which font,
I do all
what
that.
size, same. And it's like,
it's a lot of work.
I'll take a still from the video, then take 4 stills and pick my favorite one, and then that limits where the text can go, and all of these things is just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
You have to learn it on the road.
So that's tricky.
That's tricky, but we do it because if you want a chance to succeed and be able to
We love
live
it.
from this. And you know what? I do enjoy a lot consuming, or like when I get my own clips and I'm like, oh, that was a great clip. The outcome, like the content itself, I just don't like being responsible for it. But so far, I have to be at least very involved in it.
Yeah.
I've
Same.
been working with famous comedians. Shout out to Ricardo Farrell and the people from Canada, Malpensando. I learned about content creation in a better way and comedy from them, and Tio Robert and other people I've been working with in the last few years. And the approach of Ricardo even travels with a content person. So it's him, his manager, and the content person. And he's like, I'm not touching content except like the podcasting. Of course he does, and he has this other project that his passion project. All right, but me recording myself and clipping myself, no, there's somebody completely.
So
on
he's
that.
there with his own little setup, and he's deciding what's funny, what's not.
Yeah,
The
I
content
guess
guy.
Ricardo might say something like, "Hey, don't forget to like that one thing
That
I
was
said.
good,
That was
yeah.
good." But yeah, it's all on this because he was touring one person. But when he's at home, when he's back in Mexico, there's a whole team of people behind the camera. You know, like they're recording and then talking to people in the back, and you're like, "Hey, there's like at least 3 people in the back."
I can assure you, there's no one behind.
There's no one behind this.
This is
It's
it.
just me checking the batteries on these
That's why we
cameras.
keep looking around. Like,
I'm
is
actually
it dead? Is
gonna
it not?
stop them right now just to be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, so eventually when you're having a good run with your content and your stand-up, you can completely delegate that, and that's like money brings money. Like you put money into that, and that grows your name or your project even better, even bigger. So we're gonna try that eventually. Today it's just the 2 of us and
Just
there's
having
3
fun.
cameras. And there's one other thing I don't like about comedy:
Okay, I have one too.
the envy side of things.
Envy. Okay.
Yeah, when
From other comedians.
from other comedians,
okay.
from other people in the space. I had issues with a couple of people, more than a couple, because you have a standard and they have a different standard, and then you're like, hey, look, I'm paying you, I'm the producer, this and that, and they're like, no, you're not respecting me, and like those creative differences and having to deal with egos. Everybody has an ego. If you don't have a ego, you're dead. And comedians will have from big to huge egos. If not, we wouldn't be comedians. I know that. I have my own. But if you let your ego take control of your life, then you're not going to go very far. You have to be able to control that. And me as a producer, like organizing things, I have to deal with a lot of those that sometimes I feel very overwhelmed by that. So that's something I don't enjoy particularly. I know it comes with the position that I've chosen for myself in this space. But if I could remove it, I would. Actually, sometimes I'm like, hey, I ask the team, like, hey, can you handle this person? Can you handle this topic? I don't want to specifically deal with that. Or if I sense that, this is going to be trouble, I go like, can you talk to this guy? And then people that are close to me and my team, I'm like, you have my full authority to talk in the name of the Comedy Fire to this person or that person. And I think that's the same thing, no? Delegate.
Yeah.
Put in between the thing you don't like in yourself some space, some person, some money, something. Because if not, I had a couple of breakdowns already that it gets too much, and it's like, so I'm working on that to keep on going out. And we're doing good work. We're having good results. We're making people's lives better, including mine and other comedians and audiences all across Europe that don't have a lot of Spanish culture things. And then we go there like, hey you, hola, ¿cómo están, amigos? And then we do some good jokes. So I want to keep on going, but it's I think that's the toughest part of the business for me because of the position I am on.
Yeah, totally. I think actually the thing that I don't like, the second thing, is in a similar way, it's a people-based thing, but it's not actually necessarily other creatives, other comedians, although obviously that comes always with its issues, is venues.
Venues.
The owners and the people who run the venues. Sometimes. Some of them are fantastic. Like they're excited for comedy. They love it. Are we all good?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And that's great because then you just feel like we, whoever it is, are providing this entertainment.
Yeah.
You love it as a venue owner. The audience is happy. We all go home. We have a hug at the end, and it's great.
Win, win, win.
Exactly.
That's the best equation here.
But I've had ones where I was running a show myself with a venue, and week to week I could sense how much less the show meant to them, and how much they cared more about how much alcohol they're selling, what's the number of tickets.
Less passion, more business.
Exactly. And sometimes people show a real appetite for stand-up at the start, and then after like week 6, if you have like a quiet show and they don't sell that much beer, then it's like, what's going on, man? And then you see their dark side quite quickly.
And then you, as a comedian that you're just passionate and you want to create spaces, you start getting bothered by the business side of a business you're working with, not even your own.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't care if they sell beer because it does not affect my economy.
Yes.
But of course it affects his, so he's gonna come and affect me in a way.
Completely.
Yeah.
So there's a few very jaded event runners. I would say they're in venues that are not comedy based. They're a
bar with a stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of them that are just notorious that if you run a show there, you're going to get an earful from the owner, and they're going to do some kind of weird thing with the seats that they want everyone to be at the back of the room because it's closer to the bar, which leaves this whole completely empty area at the front. It's
nearby the comedy.
It's like my hair. It's like my hairline. It's like all party
all
at the back, nothing at the front, and you're just like, but this is not good comedy. And then when you raise that,
you want people
they're
close.
like, I'll do whatever I want in my business. They're like snapping you, and you're just like, but okay, so you're just jaded about the fact that you're not making enough money and therefore you don't really care about the show.
Yeah.
But we kind of need you because without your space, we won't have somewhere to do a show. So that's, again, a sort of ego people-based thing.
Yeah, I had this luck that I've been encountering a lot of passionate people about the projects. Actually, today I was talking to one of them. Shout out to Oli and Basil. He gave me such a good feedback. Not only him, but because it was today. He was like, hey, man, like, I know you have a lot of countries, a lot of venues, and you're touring constantly. Don't forget about us. Like, we love the work you're doing. This is the thing that turned me on. You showed us that we could do different cultures, different languages, and there was a lot of encouragement from your side just by doing your thing. And now we reach out to our communities and we have, one night a month, different languages like Turkish and Arabic and Italian, and you were a big part of that push. So like, we would love to keep on working with you. And I'm like, wow, if every owner would be as nice.
That's like music to your ears.
Right.
Like
I engaged back and I'm like, wow, thank you for your words. And this is not so often. And thanks for being so open-minded about that. And so la 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 la. And with that kind of people, even if we don't do like the biggest shows ever and it's not the super success monetarily or maybe sometimes it is, I want to keep on working with them and invest in them. And the same happened to me in Rotterdam with somebody that was very passionate about our work. The same happens to us in Leipzig and other places that I don't want to make a super long list, but that you can see the passion. Like,
they really love it. They actually genuinely like it.
Today maybe we're losing a bit of money, but it was a great show, man. And you're like, wow, you were not even on stage. I can say that as a comedian because I'm winning the time I share with the audience and I'm taking those clips and maybe I'm growing my name. But you as a business owner in the back, like, well, we didn't make that much money. It was fun. The guy in Leipzig, he's like, this is my passion project. I usually don't make that much money unless it's like completely packed. So like 60% full room, like I'm not making money. I'm just breaking even. And if you have less people, I lose a little bit of money, but I love it.
That's great.
So when you find one of those in this business, keep them because like Sandy said, they're not so common, and most likely you're going to find someone that is looking at you with a sign of money in your face.
Yeah.
Whatever money you have in your country.
Exactly.
Oh, anyway.
We'll see. We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah.
One day there'll be a team to check this.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Yeah, technical problems, so we'll finish us on this camera. But one day there will be a team of people behind those cameras, and we will look back into this day. Today is still day one.
Day two
of this journey. We had a couple of more things prepared for you, but we already had a very long, deep, nice talk.
Yeah.
I always want to close with the recommendation.
Recommendations.
You have something for me?
I do. Okay, so this is an interesting one for me because I don't know about you, but I personally don't like horror films. I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I'm not also a fan. No.
I don't like that kind of thrill. Like I kind of just find it a bit. It just doesn't align with me. I don't like that feeling of the fear it gives in a way.
Maybe when I was young, there was maybe I get scared. But now it's like,
No, and even as a kid, I didn't like it because I would get scared. I just didn't like that. But now it just doesn't do it for me.
All right.
But I do love the thrill of a YouTube rabbit hole called near-death compilations.
Near-death compilations.
So this is like, there's a few channels that do them. It's like 20-minute compilations of someone in a parachute, for example, with a GoPro, and the parachute gets tangled.
Oh, shit.
And so they're plummeting to their death.
Yeah.
And then it's 2 minutes of you watching them do everything they need to do to like cut the cords and get rid of it. And then the second one comes out and then that gets stuck. And so they're freaking out. And then because it's near, it's not like that
Nobody
Faces
died.
of Death from the early 2000s where it's like horrible stuff. You know that they're going to survive.
Yeah,
so there's something nice about that. And it just, if you're just like tired at the end of the day and you want like a bit of a thrill, I think it's probably touching on the same thing that the people who like horror like.
Yeah, okay.
And I just can watch that for hours, and then you're just like,
then
they make it, and you're like, and then it's the next one
because you know they're gonna make it.
You know they're gonna make
near
it,
death.
so it's quite nice. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask you for a couple of channels, and maybe we'll put them here in the description, but also for me to have a look at.
Perfect.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I do watch a lot of YouTube.
Me too. I watch more YouTube than anything else, to be honest.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like YouTube, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? Some Netflix content. I'm watching X or Y series. Today I have a series for you. Do you have Apple TV, maybe?
No, not Apple TV.
Well, there's a couple of tips for people that don't have Apple TV. In your Android phone, you can download that like an app, like Netflix. Well, Apple TV, because before it was only for Apple devices and televisions and stuff. I had it the first time on the PlayStation, and for example, with the Xbox, there was 3 months for free of Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
So I created an account, and then you have 3 months of you can watch as many movies, as many shows as you want.
I have an Xbox.
So it might come with, like, if you download it on the Xbox as an app, and then you try to create an account, it might give you, like, hey, here's some free trial. For me, it was 3 months. And the PlayStation also had 1 month, and there is always a 7-day free trial. Like I said, even if you're not a Mac person. And there's a lot of good content. Maybe I'll recommend you something else. But now, the second season of this series is called Severance. Severance has such a nice, such a unique perspective, premise that it might hook you. Just imagine being able to go to the office and forget about all of that when you go home. Literally. What they do is that in this series, they operate the people that work at this specific company, which is a big company, and they are severed. It's a little near future chip implantation in the brain. So when they go into work, they turn into this person that only exists inside of work. And then when they leave, they're themselves again. And they know that it's 5 p.m. and it's, darker outside, but they don't remember anything about what work was.
I've never heard of this.
Severance. Highly recommended. I binge watched it because the second season just came out maybe a month ago or so. And so it's 2 seasons total. I think it's going to be 3 or 4. It's interesting because it sounds good, no, as a concept.
I'm just trying to think, like, without giving much away, is the idea that sort of paralleling the fact that a lot of people live life like that in a way.
A little
like
bit.
These weekend warriors who just forget about their work and go out and
It's
drink
5
and do
p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
The work doesn't
and then
exist
you go
anymore.
straight back in and you're like, okay, I'll put this hat on again. Now I'm back in the office.
Yeah,
is that
but
one of the themes, or
exaggerated?
Okay.
Because the premise sounds like, oh, yeah, okay, but what happens on day one of the person that only exists at work? What happens is that they wake up and they don't have the memories from their real life. So they wake up as new people that can speak, and they're like, I know some things, but I don't know my own name. And they're adults, you know.
That's
so
creepy. Yeah.
so the onboarding process is like you wake up in the office like, oh, what the fuck, and then they have the whole first season is about that basically. How to they introducing somebody else new to the separate floor of this company, and they're at the same time, and you as an audience, you go along with the ride. And then you see what happens inside, what happens outside, but the person that is outside has no idea of what's happening inside. And then you start getting into the topics of, are these two people? Like the person inside is called the innie, and the real person, at least outside, is the outie.
Okay.
Are innies real people? Are these, you know, like, because if I never go back to work, if I quit, if I'm fired, this person will completely cease to exist because they have their own relationships. They have no ties with your life outside. So this dichotomy of you can see the same characters inside and outside, and how they try to communicate with each other at some point. But the company has many, many layers of, you cannot do that. So when you go out, you cannot have a paper that says a note for me. No, they will take that from you. There's detectors for that.
Wow.
It's a whole different thing. And in
Very
this day and
interesting.
age, when a lot of the movies feel the same, and a lot of the series is like, oh, this is just a copy paste of a formula, etc. Or this is the live action of this thing that we've seen before, or this is the remake of that Fantastic Four thing we've seen 3 times. In this day and age, that felt very refreshing.
Totally.
Severance.
Can you imagine something like that actually happening? I think I don't think that sounds that far fetched.
That doesn't. That's the,
It's kinda
the scary
crazy.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We already have people with implants in their brains. They have it for improving their lives. There's people that have been paralyzed, and now because of that, they can reconnect some parts of the brain, and it's in a positive side. But as every tool, you can use it wrong or in a greedy way that just affects people's life. So it's a great story. I don't want to spoil more.
Yeah, let's
about
not
it.
go, because if I'm going to watch it, I haven't seen anything about it. So
Just get a free trial on Apple TV. This is not sponsored, by the way. That's why I'm telling you. Get a free trial. Don't give them your money. But of course, if you like it, well, go ahead. Or maybe you have another Xbox somewhere. And then you have half a year for free. I'm not saying I did that. I won't either confirm or deny.
no, I would.
And those
never.
are the recommendations of the day by Sandy Jones.
That's it, man.
Well, that's the episode.
That's the episode, and we have a show tonight.
We have
I'm
a show
excited.
tonight.
Yeah,
There's 2 shows
2 shows
tonight.
actually. Yeah,
But I'm only one.
yeah. Normal show, late show.
Yeah, so if you're in Berlin and you speak Spanish, come along, and also check thecomedyfire.com for all the tours we're doing around Europe, and check with Sandy Jones for English stuff. Hopefully he already is bringing me along.
Exactly. Sandy Jones Comedy on Instagram, Sandy Jones Show on YouTube, and
I won't tell you my Instagram because I'm creating a new one for English only, but it's on this screen right now. I haven't done it yet, but it's
It's
here. I don't want to say it, and then it's not available, and then I'm like, oh, stupid. No, so it's here on the screen, or in the description of this video. That's the episode, amigos and friends. See you next
very
one.
fun. See you next time, man.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Should do that every time.